I did this experiment once where I asked it to describe me based on what it knew about me. And what I got was like remarkable. And then I said, act like you're my business mentor. What are the challenges that you see in my way? And the feedback that it gave me, I mean, Damien, it was like, what? How do you know me this well? So I've been really using it as a strategist. I'll have it review a proposal and give me feedback on it and help me brainstorm strategies for expanding the market. I really am treating it as like a COO.
Hello, hello. Today I have the pleasure to introduce Gary Montalvo. Gary is a leadership and mindset coach who helps big-hearted entrepreneurs stop being the bottleneck in their business. With nearly 20 years of experience coaching solopreneurs, startups, and executives around the world, Gary is known for his real talk, practical strategies, and contagious energy. He's the former Chief Growth Officer at Lime Life by Alcone and the host of the Ownership Game podcast. Gary, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Damien. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to have this conversation with you for months now. I love to geek out about Mac stuff, so this is like perfect.
Yeah, and when we had the pre-show, I realized you have been using Macs more than 10 years before before I started.
Oh
Yes.
God. No, my first Mac was in art school. I went to the School of Visual Arts and they gave us these big clunky machines that took up a
Mhm,
desk. And the machine had like 4 gigs of RAM. That was it, you
mhm.
know? And we're talking about 1996, I think was when I first got on a Mac. I mean, I was even using them before that in high school. Like I had what were the little ones called? The ones that were
The Macintosh, it was the Macintosh
with the
128K or something like that. Huh? Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
floppy. Yeah. And I used to design the flyers for our school, the invitations. I used to use that print software that came with it, and we used to do all the posters for the school dances and all that stuff. So I've always been a Mac guy since I was a teenager.
So yeah, almost 30 years of Mac
Yeah.
experience. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
what's your current Mac?
So I have a MacBook Pro, a 13-inch. I got it around 2022, I think, and before the 15 came out, which I was so annoyed afterwards because I had to sacrifice the smaller screen, and I'm on the M2
Mhm,
processor. And I used to have a MacBook Pro before that, but I wasn't designing anymore. I haven't really been designing in years, but I still like to have the power. But it was so heavy to carry around with all my traveling, and it was giving me like back issues. So I surrendered. I said, okay, I'm gonna get the MacBook Air. But it's been great. It's been a great little machine, especially with the M2. It holds up really
mhm.
well. I'm excited to upgrade to the 15-inch. It's been calling me for a year now, going like, come, you want this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually not clear when the M5 will get released. So we are recording this just to timestamp it. We're recording this in July 2025. And so yeah, so we don't know yet when the new
Yeah.
M5 will get released.
But when it does, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I mean, the M2 was such a game
Mhm,
changer. It was incredible how it just like started working so differently. It was, and I could do so much more with a smaller machine. I used to have to carry the Pro around, as I said, to get some of this stuff done. So I'm really impressed with
mhm.
it. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for the biggest complaint is the larger screen. That's it.
So no complaints about the ports, the fact that you might have lost a few ports along the way?
I definitely I don't miss it as much, but you know what? To your point, I do have to switch around a lot. Like when I'm gonna go live, I have to unplug my monitor to plug in my microphone and to plug in my. So I guess you're right. I try to use a port, one of those docking stations, and I don't know if I haven't gotten the right one yet, but it started to slow down the filming. I noticed that I was getting lagging in the
Mhm.
camera, so I've stopped using the port and now I'm just plugging in directly. So it's not a deal breaker for me. I'm not like, oh my God. But you're right. I do miss the port. I do miss having a couple a little more. One more. Just one more.
Yeah, just one more on the other side of the charging thing.
On the other side, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, the
for
what's nice,
sure.
I think it was already with the M2 that they reintroduced MagSafe, so now you don't lose a port just for charging.
Yeah.
You have that on top of it. But yeah, and that was one of the reasons why I finally bought the MacBook Pro. It's an M2 as well. Well, it's an M2 Pro, is because of this extra port on the right side, but more than the USB-C port, it's also the SD card reader. And for me, giving training sessions in a corporate settings, I need to plug an HDMI cable, and that is built in. And touch
Yeah.
wood, I haven't had any issue yet. Every time I connect it, the HDMI port, to any TV or setup at a client's place, it worked. So
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're making me miss that stuff. Now I'm realizing I'm like, oh yeah, that was nice. I honestly like I just am so in love with the lightness of
Mhm.
it that it was like it was carrying around that other one was like it was just brutal on my back in airports and planes and all this stuff. I travel a lot. I'm on a plane at least 2 times a month, if not more. So, but yeah, now that you're talking about it, you're making me feel nostalgic. So,
Yeah, a friend of mine was hesitating between the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro, and she was like, "Yeah, but the weight, but the weight." But we looked at it and said, "Look, it's less than half a pound difference in terms of weight between
now, now
the Pro and
the
the Air." And so
maybe now. Maybe now, when I did it before, it
yeah,
wasn't, I don't think.
now yes, it's half a pound. And I don't remember now if we compared like the 15 Air with the 14 point something Pro, because yeah, it could
Yeah,
be that the 16-inch Pro is still much heavier than the 15
yeah,
Air. But my
that's the one that I
14-inch
had.
Pro, I can hold it in one hand and go around the house and hold it in one hand.
Yeah. I had the 15, 16 one. And my Pro was, my last Pro, I must have gotten it in 2017, so I'm not really sure what model that would have been. So that I remember from that one to this one was
Yeah.
significant. But I'm glad to hear that they're lighter now, because maybe I'll go back to a Pro.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
What I
need it,
told
but
my friend was just go into an Apple store and carry both of them, right? Go in the
yeah.
store, carry the Air, and then immediately go to the Pro and carry the Pro and see if you feel a difference, right? If it's really noticeable, then okay, go with the Air. But if it's okay, then you will gain a lot of not only yeah ports for sure. Now in terms of processors, it's possible to have the exact same processor on the Pro than on the Air, but you are limited in that case in with the amount of memory that you can have, the shared memory.
Mm.
Yeah. What do you use your Mac for actually? What are the main things that you do on your Mac?
I mean, I run my business from my Mac. From all the basic stuff, right? Emails, web, but I film my podcast on my
Hmm.
Mac. I design marketing on my Mac. I build my presentations on my Mac. I, run my presentations when I'm speaking from my Mac. I communicate with my team. It's everything. There's no way that I would be able to um, do anything. Um, I mean, you have other tools, but obviously the iPads have come a long way. But I still like to have the keyboards and the mouse, and moving that way. It's
Hmm.
just um, You can't beat that. And maybe it's just memory control, muscle control, but you can't beat that. I when I started to when I started working at Limelife 2017 at first, they handed me a PC. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I tried for like a week and it was just like, guys, like I can't do this."
You're killing me.
I'm like I'm like I could spend the next 3 months trying to learn this, but if like give me a Mac, let's go. No, it I run everything on my Mac, and that now that I know it's one of the topics you get into, but now that AI is so powerful, you know, I'm brainstorming strategy on the Mac. I'm having, I'm constantly speaking to chat and asking it advice and asking it for feedback and asking it to review something. So it's there's even so now it's gone from execution to also just the conceptualizing and the strategy work around it as
Mhm,
well. Um, so yeah, I do everything.
mhm. Yeah, so we'll cover the AI segment a little bit in a few minutes, but
Yeah, I went
let's
ahead.
let's
I went ahead
let's
of script.
circle back to what are the applications non-AI related that you absolutely cannot imagine, right, running your business without on your Mac.
Yeah. So there's an app called
Okay.
Kiwi that allows me to access. It's not very popular, I don't think, but basically it allows me to my I use the Google
Hmm.
ecosystem, the Google Drive and all the Google tools, but it's incredibly annoying for me to have to log into a website to do it and have to have all these tabs and all of this. So this app allows me to access all of my Google tools natively on the desktop. And it was an absolute game changer because I always have my drive open. I always have like it just allows me to have everything natively in the desktop and I don't have to mess around with with the web browser to do it. And yeah, that one is a game changer. I tried to like stop using it once and it was like, nope, I need to go back. I can't do this. And then what I love about that tool also is that it allows me to have all of my Google accounts. So I can just like toggle between all the Google accounts. I don't have to re-log in. I don't have to go back and change. And it was like, again, an absolute changer. It just makes that experience so clean because I have my professional and I have my personal and I have, my teams now. I have their accounts that I'm also plugged into. And this allows me to just toggle between all of them very seamlessly. So that is probably my number one. um, Natively built into from the Mac suite of apps. Keynote for me it was a godsend when like the amount of hatred that I have for PowerPoint cannot be understated. And then again as a former designer, how things look is still very important to me, and Keynote allowed me to be a designer when I'm building my presentations. And there's an intuition and a flow and an elegance that I think like that is probably one of the masterpieces I think that has come out of
Mhm.
Apple. And I'm just so eternally grateful that I never have to touch PowerPoint again. It's like it no. And similar to that numbers, I think is also a really strong app. I don't know if because I'm not an Excel guy, so I'm sure if you're an Excel guy, numbers may come short up, in terms of some of the things that it can do. I don't know that I'm making that up. But for me not being an Excel guy, numbers makes that world more accessible and easier to navigate, and it makes it also just more attractive to experience. So I really believe, I really think that those are two masterpieces from app. I've been really into Notion lately. I've been going down that Notion rabbit hole for the last year, and I love that they've created They have a calendar app and they have an email app that is also they've done really nice work with it, and I love that I can access those natively on the desktop and not have to go into the browser. So those are probably my favorite right now.
So when you talk about Notion calendar, Notion email, it's different from what can be built inside a Notion database. It's another service, or
So I think eventually that part's a little clunky because they did separate those things out into three apps. The functionality crosses
okay.
over, so it allows you to use calendar functionality into your Notion databases, and now it allows you to use email, but they have built it out into separate apps. And it kind of makes sense too, I think, because if you want to read your email, you probably don't want to have to dig around Notion, other stuff, right? So maybe it does make sense from that perspective. But it does give you other places to click, it gives you three different
Mhm.
tabs. But yeah, I'm enjoying them. I'm still using Kiwi primarily for my scheduling, but I'm starting to go, oh, like for example, Notion has this feature that I love. It's so simple and elegant. In their calendar, you can just say, hey, here are three times that I'm available to talk to you, and you can just go click, 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 and it creates a link where you can just send it to somebody and they can schedule in your calendar. And you know, I love it because I don't have to go to Calendly now and set up a different call or update the calendar or update, I can just kind of go, I don't have to change my calendar or my strategy, and I can just go boop, 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 boop. Does this work for you? Um, and what I really like about it is that how it copies it is primarily text. It says, "Hey, Damien, do 30 minutes within any of these times work for you?" And it shows you the time. And then it says, if just reply back to me saying what you want or use the link to schedule the call. So it gives you the
Mhm.
option because I often do that. I often go, "Hey Damien, I'm available this time, this time, this time, this time," because again, I want to work with you outside of the parameters that I set for my
Mhm.
calendar, right? And this allows me to do that very seamlessly. So I think Notion's doing some really interesting work, and especially around their AI development as well, which I even haven't started playing with. I know we're going to talk about that later, but I think Notion's doing some really great
And
work.
so if I hypothetically, right, if I reply to you and said I would like this time slot, does it automatically with my reply, when it receives my reply, does it automatically book the slot, or you still have to manually do it?
So it gives you both options. You reply back to me, and then I just have to schedule it for us, or it also includes a link that allows you to click
Mhm.
on it, and I can just change the copy and say, "Hey, click on this
Mhm.
link." But sometimes I don't know. There are certain times that I don't want to send somebody to my calendar link. There's something about that there's certain conversations that feel like I want to schedule that for that person, whether it's a VIP
Mhm.
client or someone that I'm courting, I don't want to send them to my calendar link all the time. So I like that this just copies it, translates it into text right away. And if I wanted to just make it available I can just change the
Mhm.
copy, delete that part and say, here, click here. But if I wanted to keep that personal experience, it allows me to have that ability.
Yeah, so now I understand better. So at the very least, it saves you already a lot of time, right,
Oh, I used to
typing
have to
out,
go, yeah,
because the
100%,
last time I did, I'm
100%.
available on this, and then return, first
Yeah,
bullet,
yeah,
second bullet.
100%. Yeah. And then you're doing it for several, like, 3 or 4 days, or sometimes multiple
Mhm.
weeks, like, hey, I got, so this was a game changer. I was like, oh, wow, I can just click, 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 and it creates all the copy for me, and it says
Mhm.
it's brilliant.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. Being in the Google Workspace myself as well, I realized they have now a competitor to Calendly and Cal and Savical built into Google Calendar. So it's possible now to do the same thing. You can create a booking link, you can select slots.
Is it
No,
Boomerang?
no. It's built in Google Workspace. It's offered by Google. It's part of your subscription, your Google Workspace for Business subscription. It's part of it. You can even hook it, and I think it's a Stripe, and actually have paid calls organized directly from Google Calendar. It's new in the sense that it's less than 1 year old now, this thing.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they very quietly released that feature. I have looked at it. I've configured Stripe just to see how it works. I've actually never
Uh-huh.
used it because I'm so entrenched into Savical now with the podcast,
Mm.
and I still have a Calendly link on the side that I've not really exploited that, but it's available. So for people, for the listeners who are in Google Workspace and you're on a free Calendly plan and you're thinking, maybe I should pay for something more. Look first into Google Calendar what you can do natively now.
Mm. I actually use Boomerang. That's what I've been
Mhm.
using. It's what I used to book which is it has a native integration, or at least I think Boomerang is owned by Gmail in some ways, but it feels
Mhm.
clunky. It feels like it doesn't feel smooth yet, and so I like that. I'm gonna check that to see if I can find this. Google does that, right? They update stuff quietly, and all of a sudden you'll see, whoa, what does that do? And then you have to go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, let's go to the AI segment. You
Mhm.
alluded to an app or to a service that you are using. What's the number one AI service that you are using right now?
So for me, I'm still like on ChatGPT primarily. I have dipped my toes into other things, but what I found myself starting to get distracted by testing all these models, and I just needed to go, right? So then I shifted my strategy to just focusing on how to get what I need from ChatGPT and how to train ChatGPT. Um, so ChatGPT right now is always open. It's constantly like I've started the basic stuff, started with the basic stuff, helping it, asking it for help with copy and brainstorming names and those types of ways. And but lately I've been really leaning into using it as a
Mhm.
strategist. And what I did this experiment once where I asked it, because once the memory changed, that was a game
Mhm.
changer. And so now that this thing can really get to know you, it started to do things that I was just like flabbergasted about. Like, I asked it to describe me based on what it knew about me, and what I got was like remarkable. And then I said, wait a minute. I said, act like you're my business mentor. And what are the challenges that you see in my way? And the feedback that it gave me, I mean, Damien, it was like, "What? How do you know me this well?" And so I started to go, "Okay, there's something here now. There's something here that I can really start to lean into this more." So I've been really using it as a strategist. I'll have it review a proposal and give me feedback on it. I'll have it help me come up with launch strategies, and help me brainstorm, strategies for expanding the market. Like, I really am treating it as like a
Mhm.
COO, and it's been pretty amazing to have that. I mean, obviously, it's not perfect. There's still, like, things. but it's just been a remarkable tool and such a time saver, such a time
Mhm.
saver. Um, gra- um, then the other tools that I really use are really more like built into other stuff. Like I produce my podcast on Riverside. They have some great AI tools that, to help you with editing, to help you with creating clips, to help you with um show notes and titles and things that are time consuming. Like you may not realize this, kids at home, but podcasts are very time consuming. There's many, many, many steps to this. And so those tools are great. Decipher AI has also been another great AI tool for the podcast. It spits out transcripts and show notes and titles and quotes and social media content and that you know th- but I've been leaning in more to ChatGPT because I found that I can customize ChatGPT to give me more my voice and more what I want. So I've actually been stepping away from that. Um, yeah, and then things like Grammarly, for example, that is just installed and you need it to, because I can't spell for anything. So, you know, which are pretty basic tools that you don't even think about. It's like AI, but it is AI, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's I would say it's
So
even the OG AI.
the
They
OG.
they were using
Yeah, you're
AI
right.
without saying that they were using AI for many years. It was just
Yeah,
it's another kind of algorithm. It was not trained on so much data as Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini, but still, it is artificial intelligence. It is predicting based on an input, predicting a corrected output. So yeah, it's still AI.
yeah. I just interviewed a AI expert that helps implement AI into entrepreneurs' business. And from that conversation, I was like, oh man, I gotta go learn Claude because I feel like she just talked about it in some ways that I was like, the thing it's so funny. We talked about this on the show, on my episode. There's a way that AI can be stressful for me, not because I have a problem with the technology or using it or learning how to, like, that's not it, but it's stressful in that there's so
Mhm.
much and it's changing so fast. And now I feel like there's a part of me that feels like I have to learn all of this, right? And like, I don't have time for that. So what I'm trying to do is like pick the one or
Mhm.
two that are making a difference for me and just like enjoy the ride, right? And let experts like you tell me when I have to go learn something else,
Mhm.
because otherwise I'm making myself crazy trying to learn everything.
Yeah, there's one thing lately that has been a bit irritating for me from on by ChatGPT is this constant follow up. Constantly, we're doing something, we're going in a direction, and says, "Do you want me to do this thing? Do you want? I could also do that. Do you want me to do it now?" And I said, "No, no, no. Let's focus. I'm the one who is obliged to focus ChatGPT, and I'm ADD. I'm ADD. I'm not. I don't have the hyper something, but really
Uh-huh.
being
Yeah, yeah,
easily
yeah.
easily distracted.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
me, and
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have to take to say ChatGPT. No, 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 no. Let's continue where we're going. I want to see the end of this.
I've gone down those rabbit holes too. Yeah. Cause I'm like, oh, now I'm curious what that looks like. Yeah, show it to me.
but
Or it'll say, oh, do you want me to create a layout of this? And I'm like, oh, you can do that? I'm like, oh, yeah, show that to me. Let's see. What I do appreciate about that, and can you train it? Maybe you can train it to not do that anymore. I don't know. You should try. But what I do appreciate about that is that it has given me ideas about how to use chat or how to continue the conversation that I appreciate.
Mhm,
Like there are times that it'll say, "Oh, do you want me to, create an image of that or a mock?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that you could do that. Yes, let's do that." So I do appreciate something that started messing with me about chat, I used to be able to get it to create like Excel documents, or I used to be able to get it to export documents, and something changed now where it's not really doing that anymore. And I don't know if it's like, I don't know. I don't know if this sounds familiar to you, but I remember telling it to, hey, take this data and create an Excel document and these blah blah blah. And now it's like it's not doing that. It can't connect to Google or something. Like there's something. I don't know.
So yeah, because so there are different things. If it's inside a custom GPT, that custom GPT need to have data analysis ticked, activated. Otherwise, the custom GPT will not be able to do it. So that's something to double check if it's a custom GPT. If it's not a custom GPT, then unfortunately, that's also one of the things that needs improvement is the fact that there are so many models and not all models have the same capabilities. So depending on which one you choose, if you choose 4.0 versus 0.3 versus 0.1 mini versus 0.1 mini high, and then you have the more models and you have 4.5 and then you have 4.1, and depending on those, right, not only don't they give you the same answers, but they don't have the same capabilities at the bottom when you can select stuff. And one thing that I appreciate now, and I know for some people it's it makes them crazy, but I actually think it's going in the right direction. The same way that you appreciate, and also I appreciate the fact that it helped me discover what it can do. Is with custom GPT now, you can, as the creator of the custom GPT, suggest or choose a preferred model. Before we were limited to 4.0, the least precise or expert model. And now, finally, I can use slightly more advanced models in my custom GPTs. But again, it increases a little bit the complexity of how it works. You have to go back to your GPTs.
See, that's the part that's stressful,
Exactly.
Damien. Now I gotta learn which
Exactly.
model out of it's yeah, that's the part that's like,
Yeah. Yeah. I have a question about your usage of ChatGPT on the Mac. Are you doing it through a browser or have you downloaded the native Mac app from OpenAI?
native Mac app.
The native app.
Yeah.
Okay.
That yeah. That was also a game changer because they just made it really
Mhm.
accessible and easy. And now I have the little tool. You know what? Well, I'm skipping ahead, but I know you're gonna ask me what I wish Mac would do. I wish, you know how Mac allows you to choose Chrome as your preferred
Mhm.
browser? I wish, I know they're never gonna do this because they're really trying to live their best life with this Apple Intelligence thing. But I wish they would allow you to choose the AI model that you wanted to use.
Mhm.
You know, that would be like a game changer. But yeah, no, I'm using it natively. And I the I love being able to speak
Mhm.
to it, but I don't enjoy the experience of it speaking to
Ah,
me.
okay.
And this is what somebody told me about Claude. And so because I don't want to listen. If I ask you a question that requires you to read 4 paragraphs of something, I just want to skim the answer and go through what I want. I don't want to sit there and listen to all of it. And what I don't like about chat is that if you interrupt the speaking, it doesn't give you, it's like creating it as it's speaking to you. And I heard that in Claude, you can interrupt the speaking, but it still has the content for you to read. So I was like, oh, that sounds exciting. I may try that. But I do enjoy speaking to it and giving it what I need quickly. But I wish there's something about that. I wish that it was showing me on the screen what it's reading so that I can opt
Mhm.
out. Yeah, that would make it easier because you don't have sometimes you just want to go to the part that you want, we just want to
Mhm.
skim it.
Yeah, for me, it's really a modal thing. When I'm on the computer, I type, and when I'm on my phone, I speak. And so while preparing dinner or something like that, I put my phone on the kitchen counter, and then I initiate a conversation, and then I start talking with ChatGPT, and we bounce ideas and stuff like that. And
Really?
or from time to
Okay.
time, I'm curious about certain topics, so I have ChatGPT educate me on stuff.
While you're cooking
Yes.
dinner. Huh. See, I love that. That's such a great like this it's so fascinating. Like we're using this technology in these ways that I would have never expected you to say that. And I love that I keep finding these ways that people are using this and it's like it's so
Mhm.
innovative. I love that.
And so, yeah, so coming back to the native Mac app for ChatGPT, did you know that very recently, OpenAI now has introduced audio recording capabilities in the Mac app? So you can, for instance, initiate a recording and it will record the audio of your Mac. So if you are in a meeting or stuff like that, it actually takes over capabilities from Zoom. Zoom has the AI, its AI companions thing. Well, you don't need that. You can have the transcript directly in ChatGPT. And what
Mm.
ChatGPT does, it will delete the audio recording. It will just keep afterwards the transcript in a canvas, if I remember well. But that's one of the newer feature. Okay, mid July 2025 capabilities of the native Mac app in of ChatGPT.
I love that. I didn't know that. That's definitely, you know, one of the it's so funny you said that because again, I'm getting ahead. One of the things that I wish Mac did natively was
Mhm.
transcribe. Like, I know that it dictates, but like the memo app, I'm like, "Come on, you should be transcribing these memos by now, right?" And I love that, so this would be the workaround, right?
Uh,
The
so
chat's
maybe
doing.
that's not actually fully understanding the capabilities of the Mac, because with the newer version, voice memos are transcribed in notes. There is a special, if you open Apple Notes, you can find back all your recordings, your transcriptions of your recordings. There is
If you open notes on
on
your
the
on your
yes,
Mac?
if you open Notes on your Mac, there is now a section for um, audio recordings. You don't have that.
Do I need to update? Is that the later?
So I have
I
to
know
double
there's
check.
one
I have to
update
double
that I
check
don't have.
which version of macOS it is. But
Okay.
now there is
I
a
know.
native transcription. Um, and again, I don't think that I have it. Uh, Being in Europe, there are some restrictions. I don't have all the capabilities, the Apple Intelligence capabilities either. So for instance, on the iPhone now, there is something called call transcription, right? Whenever,
Yeah.
right? And all the US, my US friends like rave about it. I don't have it. I cannot have it because I'm in Europe.
Oh,
And because of the DMA and all those things, Apple said, okay,
got
no,
it.
we'll not introduce that feature in Europe yet because it's not clear about the regulatory framework. So there are a bunch of things that
Oh,
we
yeah.
are missing out here in Europe, actually.
That one's a good one. Yeah. I don't know on the Apple AI side if you're missing much, but on the transcript, yeah, that one's a good one.
Very good. So let's go to the next segment, to the tip or the trick that you have discovered recently on your Mac.
Oh man, I was trying to think about this. And I don't know that anything was jumping. out. The the one I'll tell you this, but I will tell you a funny story. One of my dear friends who has also been using a Mac as long as I have, we actually met in art school. She calls me from time to time to get like, she thinks that I'm an IT support guy, and I'm like, I'm really not, but I know a little more than her. So she calls me if I'm walking her through something and I walked her on how to copy a link from her phone and paste it on her browser on her thing, and her mind blew up. And she's like, "What? How long has this?" I'm like, "This has been available to us for years. It's it literally was a game-changing feature, and she had not discovered it, but so I changed her life, completely by being able to copy something from one device and paste it into, the Mac. I mean, I do that all the time, especially
Mhm,
with, like, because I create content on my laptop, but then I'm like, if I'm posting on social media, for example, I'm posting it on my
mhm,
phone. So then I can get copy and just paste it. It's,
mhm.
so I didn't discover that recently, but my friend did. So I'm gonna tell that story.
Yeah, it's a good reminder for maybe some of the listeners do not know about this feature. So yeah, it's always good to remind people.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be connected to the same
Mhm.
Wi-Fi, and it'll do that. It'll let you copy from one device to the other.
Very good. And so, yeah, if you were in charge of the Mac division at Apple, what would be your first priority?
Um, so I think my beef with Mac is that it feels like it's gotten really complicated. Like all the different models, all the different versions, all the different, there's a way that it feels complicated when the Mac experience was always simple and elegant, right? So I'm sure there's business decisions tied to some of that and keeping some of the older models, and I'm sure there's like different markets where some models, I'm sure there's something that I'm not
Mhm.
seeing, right? But there is a way that now when you're shopping, it feels like okay, or when you're trying to find your model, like now it's like, well, which which you're on Apple 7 watch, but there's still 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that you can get. So it's like, but why do we have the 7 then if we can just get the 10? So that part is confusing and it feels, and I don't know what the answer is, but that's probably like my biggest beef. I think the AI situation, it's embarrassing. I feel like this Apple intelligence thing that they tried to do, they was like, "Oh, here we go," and it's like it was so disappointing. Siri has always been a hot mess and so disappointing, and it's like, "Guys, come on, like, you're Apple. You really can get this together. Come on." It's like, ah. So I wish, the other day I was Googling, like, trying to figure out how I can, um just have ChatGPT answer me automatically on the iPhone, and because I was like, I don't want to have to ask Siri anything. It usually, other than like set a timer, give me a reminder, and what time is it? Like I don't really want to talk to Siri. Um, so that would be that. The other thing, here it is. I also think so now they have all the different, what do they call it, the focus
Mhm.
features. I think they could be doing so much more with that. Like, I want to be able, there's all these third party apps that allow you to control which apps you can open and to set timers and to set restrictions. Again, you said ADHD. I also have ADHD. I would love to have those features built in natively into the Focus, app. I want to be able to, shut down my social media. I want to be able to set certain restrictions and not have to go through a third party and pay a subscription or something else. Like, those are things, like, you're right there. You literally have the framework. It just give me more control over, and then it could be natively because a lot of those apps will allow you to do it on your phone, but then you can go to your laptop. And so um, I, I I'm excited about the possibility of being able to control the experience, because I just feel okay, otherwise it's really not a powerful feature unless you give me that much control. Um, yeah, those are that's my wish list. The other two I told you about, apparently it does memo transcription, so I have to find that out. But I've always wished that the memo app did that naturally, because sometimes I'm just, I'm thinking a lot. I'm writing content. I want to be able to just get that transcribed, and not have to export it and put it in somewhere else. And then the AI model. I want to be able to choose my AI model and not talk to Siri.
Mhm.
How's that list?
Yeah, they were talking about integrating as well other provider than ChatGPT into Apple Intelligence, so potentially Gemini and maybe Perplexity. We'll see. Um, and yeah, maybe give a little bit more control to the user to, as you said, maybe default, ask to default to ChatGPT. If you already have a paid account, right? And because if I understand correctly, you can put your ChatGPT Plus subscription credentials into Apple Intelligence, so it's actually using your account. So it will not lose any part of your memory. It will be part of the memory, and yeah, yeah. So we'll see.
Get on it, guys. Whoever's listening.
We are before the release of the next version of the operating systems, and they've unified the numbers now, so it's going to be macOS 26, iOS 26, iPadOS 26, everything 26 for the version that will be released in September, October. And it's mostly, I would say, a paying job about a new interface. They haven't
Yeah.
changed much, I think. Really,
I mean, at least tying it to the year will probably, it might simplify something, I guess. Because then, they do release something every year, so it's not. But then we're gonna be stuck. Then the 1 year that's like they missed something, we're still gonna be on 26, but now it's 28. Oh my goodness.
yeah, we'll see. Well, well, thank you, Gary, for sharing how you are using your Mac and how you are using and leveraging AI on your Mac. Where can people find you online?
So I am very easy to find. Just Gary Montalvo on Instagram, Facebook. GaryMontalvo.com is my website. I'm very findable. So just Google Gary Montalvo. And yeah, and check out my podcast, The Ownership Game. We don't talk about computers, but we talk about a lot of other cool stuff.
Yeah, so I will put a link of everything in the show notes. So again, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you. This was so much fun. It's not something I usually talk about, but I really, really enjoy talking about this stuff. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
So very good. So if, like Gary, you would like to share how you are using your Mac to run your solopreneur business, it's simple. Just visit macpreneur.com/apply. If you are already on Podmatch, click on the button and you will land on the show profile. Otherwise, fill the application form and I will get back to you within a few days. Once again, it's macpreneur.com/apply. In the comments below, please share your main takeaway from this episode. And if not done yet, please subscribe to my channel so you'll get more helpful tips on how to run your business on your Mac. Until next time, I'm Damesh, wishing you a great day.
Thank you for watching the Macpreneur podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, please leave a comment and share it with a friend right now.